Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mama Christine's podcast, Living Life Through Experience, where we talk about real life experiences and how I get through mine and how other people get through theirs, and maybe a way to help you get through yours, okay? So this is episode 23 of this year. It's been a great summer so far. I hope yours has been as well. Lots of craziness going on, big smoke coming down from Canada and Minnesota, and making the air quality not so great. But for the good days that we've had, it's been beach days and relaxing days and the days we have to work, So it's life. It really is. It is what it is, right? And I know a lot of people hate that phrase, it is what it is, but it's very true. Things happen in life that can really throw a monkey wrench into our plans, and yet there's not much we can do about certain things. And that's where you have to understand that, it is what it is. And what can I do to get through it versus fighting against it constantly and pushing and screaming and kicking and, because it doesn't do anything besides make it worse. So those are some of the things I want to talk about is the things that we get stuck on, the things that get in our way, why they get in the way, and everything else that comes with it. And, so first and foremost, why do things get in our way? Why do things happen that stops us from doing what we're supposed to be doing or going where we're supposed to be going or, changing what we think is the best thing for us? And a lot of times the universe just has a way of stepping in and just dropping a bombshell on you going, yep, nope, not here, not now, not ever. Turn around, you're going the wrong way. And that's really what it is. Paying attention to what the universe is trying to help you with. And, again, I've seen it a million times in my own life where the universe is like, do this, do this, do this, do this. Okay, she's not doing this, so we're going to make it happen. And sure enough, it happens. It's happened in good ways and it's happened in bad ways, But even the bad ways, I came to realize that, if the universe didn't step in and make me say what I needed to say, things would probably be the same old, and I'd be miserable. So things are meant to happen for a reason, okay? So some examples of things that are meant to happen for a reason. A lot of times, people say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have known better. But in the moment that you made that choice to do what you did, that was the best thing you knew at the time. So never beat yourself up for making certain choices, even if they lead to a mistake. Because to me, there are no mistakes. There's lessons to be learned. So even if it doesn't go the way you want it to, pay attention. There's something you're going to get out of it no matter what. And more than likely, yes, it's a lesson. It's definitely a lesson. Things that have happened to me in my life where the universe has stepped in and forced me to do what I needed to do. One is what I'm doing right now, talking to a bunch of people, okay? And I know you're not all in front of me, but when I was doing Reiki at the local hospital and whatnot, I had walking around the hospital, going from department to department, the different departments of the cancer department anyway. I ran into some social workers that know me from seeing me around the hospital and whatnot. And one of them stopped me one day and says, hey, would you like to do a talk, to one of our women's cancer groups? Now, I am not a huge, I would teach a Reiki class to 2 to 6 people, but a room full of people? No way. That's just not me. Miss, I'm shy until I get to know you kind of person. Then, then I open up really good. But it's yeah, I'm not going to talk in front of, a group of people at a hospital. And she's like, oh, it'd be so great. She says all the social workers get together and every month and each social worker gets a certain month that's theirs so they can bring to the group discussions something alternative to what we normally do. And she says, I would love to have you join me and talk about the Reiki. And I was like, oh God. I'm in my inside of myself going, how do I say no? How do I say no? How do I say no? And I went, okay. And it was, I swear to you, somebody opened my mouth, forcing out the words, yes. And I was like, oh, you made me say it. Because I knew in my head I wanted to say no, but yet the word yes came flying out of my mouth, and I was like, okay, I think I need to do this. So we started off slow. It was a women's cancer group, and all I had to do was talk about meditation and do a little meditation with them to see how that could help them to relax. Because obviously people going through cancer, it's a very stressful thing. And that was the whole point of the connection with them and the meditation and such. I remember under the table, my knees knocking, onto the table, like so nervous. And I got through it, and I'm going, oh God, this was awful. I did terribly. I must have sounded so stupid. Like, this is all I'm hearing in my head. And when it was over, everybody was like, oh my God, thank you. That was amazing. Like, oh, I wish you could sit with me every day and do this. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, wow, okay. So never set your expectations up to think everybody's going to hate what you're about to do, because somebody's going to love what you're doing. And from there, it was like, okay, would you like to talk to the social workers, the group of us, for the hospital group? And I'm like, okay, sure. Right? Now I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling a little cocky almost. And I'm like, sure, how many social workers can there be in one hospital? Oh, there's a lot. That day came and I opened the doors and there must have been 50 social workers sitting there. And I was like, oh my God. But again, the universe had to push me to do that first one so that I could get to the second one. Because I think if I was offered the whole social workers group first, I probably would have forced myself a big old no. So starting off small and going bigger after that, it wasn't so bad. I was a nervous wreck, of course. But now, I can talk in front of people. I've been at Twin Rivers Casino in Rhode Island. And there was a big health and wellness fair going on within the I don't even know what you call it, conference halls. And because of my book, they asked me, would you like to talk, and talk about your book? And I'm like, sure. And you got hundreds of people just walking through this conference place, the convention hall rather. And it was like, oh my God. And I'm talking and doing my best to stay cool and stay calm and whatnot. And again, I progressed even higher. And now I'm talking to people every day. Maybe not face to face, but I'm doing my videos every day, my daily videos. I'm doing my podcast every week. I've just come up with some brainstorming with my higher self this past week, where I'm feeling like something needs to shift, something needs to change. And I went walking Monday night, and I went by myself because my friend was busy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to my music, pop in my earbuds, and just let my head unwind and let whatever needs to come through, and maybe I'll get some clarity. And sure enough, as I'm walking, I was like, that's an idea. Like, things just come out of nowhere. I'm like, yay, thank you. So part of what I'm going to be adding to my repertoire of videos and advice and guidance and such is, again, a video done, maybe not every day, but every few days, where I talk about actual life experiences so people can connect on a better level. Because sometimes, throwing out a card and saying, okay, well, today this is this and this is what it means, it may not connect with everybody. Or maybe somebody sees it and hears what I'm saying, but doesn't know how it connects with them. And and it's like me trying to read myself. It can be very confusing sometimes because it's harder to read yourself because, you get in your own way. So, if I use the time to, and, you're talking a minute or two, this is what happened to me and this is how I dealt with it. So if you feel that you could benefit from doing things in this manner or something similar, then by all means do so and see how it helps you. Those kinds of things. So that's kind of where we're headed at. So different things are coming up. I'm still working on my book. I know I've mentioned it in the past. Like, I've got this book going and I'm going to get it out there, and I'm doing it when I have time in between everything else. And when the timing is right, it's just going to fall into place and it'll be there. I'm hoping to get it done by the end of this year. I know it's a long time, but I've had a lot of going on, between work and vacations and life, and, I'm not going to rush through it, because to me, if you rush something, it doesn't come out the way it should. So I'm just going with the flow of things and how Spirit is pushing me towards doing what I need to do and when it needs to be done. So anyway, back to figuring things out and having, the universe step in and help you to say and do things that you need to do. That's just one example. That was the push I needed to get me to open up and let go of the fear of speaking in public. Because again, I can sit down with a bunch of people I know, we can all have basic conversation and, things like that. But to sit in front of a group of people and say, this is who I am and this is what I do and this is what I want to help you with, it's a little more complicated. And since then, I've had other opportunities where I've taught bigger classes. I do sound bowls every month. I teach Reiki classes still. And I've actually done this Motivate Me series that we did before COVID. And it was pretty great. It was me and another mentor. And we kind of got together and would invite a third party in. And each one of us would talk about what it is where we teach and what we help people with. And, it was a day where people could come in for the whole day. They'd get a gift bag and the whole thing. And I would talk to a room full of people and not even think twice about it. So, everything happens for a reason. It really does. And as you guys know, and I've discussed this in the past, I've been married a couple of times. When I was married to my first husband, I was very young, but I knew what I was getting myself into, and I knew what the responsibilities were, and I knew what love was, and I knew what marriage was, and I knew what it meant. And the fact that my first husband cheated on me, and then I began to realize, because that's when I realized I was doing everything in my power to make sure he was happy, even though I wasn't. But to me, the way I was raised, it was like, it's always about him. And it's like, no, now it's about me. I've lost who I am as a person because I'm always giving in to what he needs, he wants, making excuses for his behavior, those kinds of things. So it took for him to cheat on me, for me to go, oh my God, wait a minute, there's more to this than just that. And again, that's where the universe steps in. So, oh, she's not doing anything about this. We got to fix this. And sure enough, bing, bang, boom, he goes out for the evening, never comes home. And lo and behold, I kind of figure out where he was. And that had to happen. Does it suck? Heck yeah. But you know what? That was one of the biggest lessons in my life. Stop forgetting who you are. Be your own person. Yes, you can be you and still have a commitment with someone else. But again, don't lose your identity. Don't lose who you are. Those old belief systems that have been pile drived into your brain, like this is what it is and this is how it goes. And this, I'm like, oh my God. If you come from a European family tradition background, then women take care of their husbands. You cook, you clean, you take care of the children, and if you work, you do that too. You do the errands, you make sure the bills are paid, and you make sure your man's happy. And it's like, oh, like, no. Somebody said something to me one time, because I said, oh, marriage is 50-50, and they said, no, it's not. I said, what do you mean it's not? And they said, no, marriage is 100-100. And I was like, oh, a different perspective, right? It got me thinking, and I'm like, interesting. They would, well, think about it. If you're 50-50, that means each of you are only putting in half your effort. If you're doing 100-100, you're both putting in everything you've got, right? So think about those things. Perception is everything. It's quick to say, oh, marriage is 50-50. It's really not. So again, my first marriage, that had to happen. It happened because, again, it helped me to find my individuality, find myself again, my personal power, getting back to who I was, because I let everything go so he could do his things. And I know I blamed him for a lot of different things, but who enabled that? I did. And honest to God's truth, I'm not going to lie, I let it happen. I could have said things sooner, but again, I was, not an excuse, because I could have changed anything I wanted to change, but those belief systems in me is your husband's always right. If your husband says this, then that's how it goes. And you're like, okay, fine. And so if I said, well, I don't think you should be doing that because X, Y, Z, and he's like, well, that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do, and I work hard, and I'm going to do it. Okay. And you let it be. Now I look back at that and I go, wow, what a life lesson that was for me. Okay, fine. So now I separate, I get divorced, I meet somebody else. And I learned to keep my individuality. I learned to be my own person, but then I had children. And then I felt like because of the person he was becoming and not becoming, that's lying. The person he's always been, but I refused to see, that I was now seeing more so than I did before, was his narcissistic behavior. And I was like, I did not trust him with the kids because he never paid enough attention to what was going on in his surroundings, that if something had happened, he probably would have missed it. So with that being said, I started to be like, hey, wait a minute. I can't do that anymore. I was starting to get into this whole spiritual thing, the holistic thing, the Reiki, the meditations and all. And I can remember wanting to go to a meditation at someone else's facility. And I wanted to go, and I was like so nervous to ask him. And again, I shouldn't have to ask. I should just say, hey, I would like to go to this thing. Does that conflict with your calendar or anything? Because are you already busy because we can't leave the kids alone in that moment, you know what I mean? So, no, it was just like, well, you know what? I really want to go to this thing. Is it okay? And again, that's the old upbringing. Again, I think all you need is to have courtesy to tell the other person there's something you want to do. Make sure your calendars aren't conflicting. Like you might already have something else you forgot about or whatever, you know what I mean? And, and then just do what you want to do. I find nothing wrong with that. But again, that guilt, oh my God, I'm doing something for me. And I finally said, no, I'm going to stop doing that because, he said it was fine. I'm like, of course it's fine. Why wouldn't it be fine? And then I started thinking, I'm like, I'm the one who's making myself believe that this isn't fine, that I need permission to go do something I want to do. And I'm like, yeah, no more of that. So then I'm like getting back to myself. My kids are still young, but now I'm getting my individuality back. And I'm like, okay, I can still be married. I can still be a mom, and I can still do things I want to do, things that I enjoy. So I started going to more things. I opened up Sisters of Solace with my sister, and now all of a sudden this big independence is coming in. And I'm a multitasker. I really am. I always have been. And I'm able to, multitask my home and dinner and kids and him and work and all these different things. And I think that was really starting to bug him, that I had so much individuality, that I proved I could do lots of things without needing him to take care of me in that moment. And it's like, I think he enjoyed that part because he felt very strong, very controlling in the fact that he needed to be around because I couldn't survive without him. Not true. So anyway, when that marriage started really going south, it was because I was really getting stronger in my self-worth and myself as a person. And at one point I can remember him saying, I liked it better when you were staying home and you cooked and dinner was ready and it wasn't all this rushing around. But then in the next sentence is, I don't know why you're not out there working. He says, what am I supposed to carry all the load of everybody? He says, with the poorest ones on the street, you should be working. And I'm like, 1 minute you want me home, 1 minute you want me working. It's whatever I was feeling, he would go the opposite. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done playing these games. These games are ridiculous. I don't want to do this anymore. And of course, again, like most people, when things are going sour and you're like, I'm done, I can't do this anymore. When you get to the point you can't even look the person in the eye because it's just you can't stand looking at them anymore, you kind of overstayed your welcome, truly. And I remember saying, I just don't want this anymore. He's being mean, he's being manipulative, it's not healthy, it's not good for the kids, it's not good for me, it's not good for anybody, and I don't want to do this anymore. And it was the constant bickering back and forth of, I don't make enough money, I don't do this, and I would shut your business down because it's not worth it, and who wants to go see you, and your stuff is all luxury stuff. Nobody around here can afford that, and it just went on, and I'm like, I never do anything unless I feel so strongly about it that I have to go out and do it. And that's what I did with Sisters. Even my sister thought I was crazy. But I'm like, no, I feel this so strongly. We got to do it. And of course, you guys know now, lo and behold, 20 years later, I'm still here. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And then one day, he yells down from upstairs, do you even want me here anymore? And honest to God, they did it to me again. And I didn't want to answer. And I heard, no, just fell out of my face. And that was it. That was the beginning of the end, really. And it just went on from there until it finally settled and whatnot. But again, the universe is going to push your buttons. So why wait? It's like being a kid. And your mom's like, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Until mom is like, okay, now I've had enough. And if you don't do this now, you're going to be punished. You're going to be whatever. And you're like, okay, I'll do it. That's what life is like. As adults, we do the same thing. The universe is like, you got to do this. I know. You got to do this. I know. You got to do this. I know. And then the universe is like, okay, we're done telling you. Boom. If you need to be out of something or do something, they're going to push you and make it so you have no choice. So it's about being strong, doing it anyway, being nervous, be scared, continue to do it anyway. Do what you need to do for you, because you know what you're afraid of? Change. We're all afraid of change. You know, and as I always say, life is ever changing. Look back on your life, no matter how old you are. What were you like as a teen? What were you like in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and wherever you're at, okay? You're always changing for the better. And if you've changed for the worse, then you know why. You know what situation or what person or persons has brought you to that place. And you made the choice to follow. Again, everything we do is a choice, so remember that. So if you're in a relationship, a friendship, a family dynamic, whatever it may be, that is absolutely miserable, you can't stand it, you wish you could leave, but you're not moving, you're choosing to stay. And I know I'm scared. I get that. I was scared too, but you know what? It all worked out. And that's just it. It always does. When we leave something that is no longer serving us, no longer good for us, it works out. I wondered how I was going to manage a house, a building, 3 kids, a business, and all the ins and outs of taking care of property. How am I going to do that? Well, here we are, 12, almost 12 years later. I'm sorry. I've done it. I've actually graduated to the point where I actually sold my house, made a good profit, cleaned up this place, gave it an uplift, right? Nice remodel outside, right? And I'm still here. So it works. Look back on your life to when your life felt like it was garbage. Things were falling apart. What's going on with me? This isn't happening. Oh my God. And this is terrible. This is the worst my life has ever been. And that's done and over, isn't it? You've gotten past it, haven't you? Of course you have. So again, when you feel like you're stuck or things aren't working out, then look at your life and say, okay, who or what is keeping me stuck? Obviously, part of it is my fault because I can make the choice to move on. I can make the choice to let go of people or things or whatever. Am I doing anything about it? No? Then get going, okay? Make things happen. Go after what you want. Let go of those people. Change your situations. Change your mindset. Change your belief systems. If it's a job, obviously we have to work and make money to pay our bills. They feed ourselves, right? So start looking for the next job. You don't have to leave that one. Just go to the next one. Put it out there. I am now ready and willing to find this new job, this new opportunity that I am going to love, and that's going to bring me more money than what I'm making now, and working with some great people, doing something that's fantastic, whatever, right? I know the universe is helping me to find the perfect job with the perfect company, making the perfect money that's perfect for me, right? The universe knows best. We think we know best. We don't know best. The universe knows best. So what blocks us? Again, fear, doubt, worry. What's going to happen? What if I'm wrong? What if? If you're in a shitty position right now, plain and simple, no mistake you make could be worse. Really. So think about that. If this situation right here, or this person right here, is keeping me in a space that I just feel miserable in, it's time to walk away. Where am I going? To the next thing, whatever that is for you. And you will figure it out. I promise you that. You will figure it out. So, stay strong. Stay resilient. Always ask the universe for help. Do what's best for you. Let go of your fears, your doubts, your worries. The people who no longer serve you. The people who treat you like junk. The situations that you don't need to be involved in. No more drama, no more trauma, none of that. Done. Let it go. Does not serve you any purpose whatsoever. When you let go, things improve. I always tell that anything that happens around you, you notice when you're not in a good space, everything around you feels like garbage. Always go with the things that you know are garbage because you feel it. Because, maybe your job is not garbage. It might feel like garbage right now because you feel like garbage. But once you start letting go of what's creating that garbage feel, like, for example, we'll say it's a person. You know what? I'm done. I can't anymore. I'm done. You're out of my life. Now notice how you feel. Now you go to work and work doesn't feel so stressful. It doesn't feel so heavy because work was never the issue. It was the person. And you know exactly what around you is creating that imbalance. It's not everything. It's something or someone. So think about that. What am I allowing? What am I enabling? And what do I need to let go? Does it serve me a purpose to enable this thing or this person? Does it serve me a purpose to keep this thing or this person around me? I know it sounds like, it's all about me, but it is about you. That's the biggest thing people don't realize. Well, that sounds selfish. It's not. That is how we are trained. That is the belief systems that are stuck in your head. You're not supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be making everyone else happy. So why is it everybody else gets to have a good life and gets to be happy, and I walk around miserable, hating every aspect of my life? Wrong. Everything starts with you. Just like in an airplane, what's one of the things they tell you in the safety tutorial that they give you? Should something happen and the cabin pressure depressurize, the oxygen masks will fall. Put yours on first before you do someone else's. You got to take care of number one, because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of anybody else. You're going to kill yourself trying to put an oxygen mask on somebody else before yourself because you want to help somebody. And I get that. We all want to help people. But again, how can you help if you're not helping you? That's the whole thing. So do you feel like you're in your independent self? Do you feel like your beliefs have changed, but you're fighting them tooth and nail because it's hard to get past them? I'm here to tell you that whatever you believe in this moment today is your belief system, and go with it. Again, life is ever changing. Beliefs change. When I was a kid, I believed in one thing. When I was a teenager, it was something else. Now it's something else beyond that. It's like you find what your truths are, what settles right in your heart. When you're searching for the answers of life, let's say, it's like maybe at one point, I believed in God and all the church things. And then a lot of things came up that I went, that doesn't feel very church-like to me. So why am I sitting here associating myself with a church thing that I don't agree with? Then it was angels and guides and all those different things. And yes, they're still a part of me, but I feel like what has shifted for me, even in the past few years, is not that I don't continue with the angels and guides, but I feel like the connection I'm looking for is more so within. Not connected to God or angels, or those are pieces of who I am. But my connection is that spark within, the spark of the divine, as they say, because we are all a spark of the divine. And I feel like a lot of what I'm looking for is right inside of me if I just open my eyes and open my mind and my heart and see it, feel it, and know it. So just food for thought for you guys. Because again, whatever I just said that I believe in may not resonate with you, and you know what? And that is perfectly fine. And if you change your mind in 2 weeks or 2 years, that is perfectly fine. Again, we have to live in the moment. We have to do what is best for us. I always say, do what is best for you, as long as you're not hurting someone else or making other people feel less than for what they do believe in, you're fine. Because again, especially when it comes to belief systems or religion, I Googled it one time. How many religions are there in the world? They said over 4,000. So that means I could create a religion, invite 3 people, and now I've got a religious group, right? Are we all right? Yes. Are we all wrong? No. It's what you believe in that makes you you. It really does. For me, my higher power, my inner self, my spirit, my soul, that is my connection. And in my connection, I also align myself with angels and guides and the universe and God and the creator and all of those pieces. I do feel that bigger presence, the bigger energy. So again, do what makes you you. Whether it's learning to speak up, learning to do something you were afraid to do, learning to become your own independent self, learning to do things without fear, learning to trust what you believe in, all of those different things. You need to be you. And know that it's okay to be you. Because a lot about who do you think you are? Well, guess what? I am me. And I love who I am. And you should love who you are. So that's our talk this week, guys. Love you all. Go with what you love. And I will talk to you next week.